My name is Mary. I'm a Californian in my late 60s, and last winter a tiny, ordinary moment rewired how I see my home. It wasn't a dramatic fall or a headline scare. It was silence, a dark hallway, my bare toes catching the edge of a pretty little rug, and that electric jolt when your balance tilts and time slows down. I didn't hit the floor. I caught the doorframe, but my heart kept thumping long after I climbed back into bed. The next morning, I looked around and realized my house was set up for how I lived 10 or 20 years ago. Not for the woman I am today, still curious, still busy, but wiser about what a slick tile or a stray cord can do. So I made a promise: I'll make this place work for me, not against me. I didn't start with a toolbox. I started with attention. I walked my usual routes, the path from bed to bathroom, kitchen to patio, front door to living room, like I was a guest visiting at night. What would catch my foot? What would make me grab the wall? What would confuse me half asleep? When I looked with that lens, small hazards lit up everywhere. It wasn't scary, it was empowering. So I made a simple plan: brighten the path, tame the floors, add a few solid handholds, change a couple habits, and breathe easier in my own space. If you're here with me, thank you for keeping me company. I'd love to know where you're watching from. Drop your name and your city in the comments. Tell me if you're in San Diego, Boise, Madison, Charlotte, or a tiny coastal town I should put on my travel list. And if this kind of calm, practical talk helps, hit subscribe so we don't lose each other between videos. Before I changed a single light bulb, I checked my balance, nothing fancy. I turned on the overhead, placed a sturdy chair next to me, and took a steady breath. Feet together first, calm, steady, 10 seconds. Then heel near the arch like I'm standing halfway on a tightrope, 10 seconds. Then heel to toe like a straight line on a sidewalk crack, 10 seconds. If I felt wobbly, I brushed a finger on the chair. No heroics, just common sense. On a good day, I can hold the straight line. On a so-so day, I sway a bit, and that's all right. Balance isn't a measure of pride, it's a signal. Mindset Mary: keep moving, keep practicing, and make your home kinder to your body. First thing I fixed was the dark. I used to tiptoe to the bathroom, trusting my memory more than my vision. Not anymore. I plugged in motion night lights along the bed-to-bath trail and one by the kitchen doorway. Now the light greets my first step, not my second. In the long hallway, we added a second light switch at the far end. On the stairs, we swapped dim bulbs for warm, brighter ones that don't glare at 10 a.m. It's such a small change, but I sleep easier knowing I won't be feeling for a switch while my feet search for the floor. And a sweet tip: I stuck tiny battery lights inside dark cabinets and the linen closet. Why rummage in shadows when a little glow keeps you steady? Then came the floors. Oh, my beloved little rugs. I loved them for their charm, but they loved to slide. I kept the ones that behave and gave the rest a new home. The keepers got proper non-slip pads trimmed to fit, plus a few strips of grippy tape at the corners. In the shower, I laid down a mat that actually grips when it's wet, not when it's dry and pretending. On the tile, I added clear anti-slip strips. The rule is simple: if it slides, lifts, or curls, it goes. Wobbly floorboards, we tighten screws. Rug edges that would flirt with my toes? No thanks. Beauty can be safe, and safe can still be beautiful. Cords were next. Chargers used to snake across my living room like little rivers, easy to step over when you're wide awake, too easy to catch when you're not. I ran them along the baseboards, clicked them into tidy clips, and tucked power strips behind the furniture instead of underfoot. Now I don't have to think about where to step when I'm carrying coffee or when I'm rocking my grandbaby to sleep. The bathroom got its own love letter. I don't rush in there anymore. We installed a solid grab bar near the toilet and another at the shower entry. No suction cups, no wiggle. A shower chair came later, and let me tell you, there is dignity in sitting. I take my time with my heels and toes, and I never worry about doing a balancing act on soapy tile. The mat catches water, the strips keep grip, and a handheld showerhead means I can rinse without leaning like a tightrope walker. Nothing in that room tells me I'm old. Everything in that room tells me I'm smart. Let's talk chairs. Gave my favorite seats a little audit. Can I sit, stand, and settle without a grunt or a push that sends me forward too fast? Armrests are my new best friends. They guide the rise and steady the landing over soft low lounges. They're cozy for a movie night, but not for everyday wear and tear. I didn't toss them. I just moved them away from the main path. And my bed? I adjusted the frame so when I sit, my feet meet the floor flat and firm. No hop-ups. No leaps of faith. I made my roots through the house straight and wide. The entrance lost its pile of mail and the temporary shoe island. The hallway corners no longer store yesterday's, I'll put it away later. Baskets got labels, hooks got actual use. If an object forces a sidestep, it relocates. It's not about perfection, it's about ease. Every clear path is a quiet daily gift. I change my feet too. Well, my footwear. At home, I wear shoes with closed heels and non-skid soles. No flip-flops on tile, no sock gliding across wood floors. House shoes that hug and hold give me instant confidence. I also learned to hem a trouser leg so nothing trails, and I keep row belts short enough not to lasso a door handle. It sounds fussy, it isn't. It's peace of mind. Habits make all the difference. 24. Habits make all the difference. Every morning I do a tiny tune-up, a few seated moves for hips and knees, an ankle alphabet, a gentle stretch for calves. It's 5 to 7 minutes, nothing extreme, just a wake-up call for my body. A couple days a week, I walk my neighborhood at a merry pace, no race, just rhythm. At night, I never jump out of bed. I sit, breathe, let the room come into focus, turn on the light, then stand. I had my eyes checked and updated my glasses. Sometimes feeling unsteady is really needing a new prescription. I also asked my doctor about meds that might make me dizzy. That conversation was a gift. Now I know what to expect on days when my balance is more cautious than usual. When I started this project, I gave myself a simple budget, about $100, to tackle the high-impact fixes. Motion night lights, a shower mat with real grip, anti-slip pads and tape for rugs, cable clips to tidy the floor lines. Grab bars and the shower chair came later, and they were worth every penny. But I didn't wait to do the perfect thing. I did the next right thing. That made the biggest difference, fast wins that changed how I move, tonight, not someday. One Saturday, I set a 15-minute timer and walked my home like a checklist. Bedroom, night light in reach, cords lifted, the rug either anchored or removed. Hallway, shoes stored, mail binned, bulbs bright. Bathroom, mat down, towels high, floor dry. Kitchen, everyday dishes between knee and shoulder height, nothing heavy up high unless it's holiday only and someone helps. Living room, clear path, no cords underfoot, rug corners secure, favorite chair easy to rise from. The timer rang, and it felt like I'd added a little runway of calm to every corner. I keep it up without turning it into a job. Once a week I do a safety minute, straighten, glance, adjust. Once a season, we check screws on the bars, swap batteries in lights, and test bulbs. I keep a short list on the fridge titled Soon, and when I'm at the hardware store anyway, I grab one item, another light, a stair tread, a better shower head. You might be thinking, Mary, is all this fuss really necessary? I'll tell you what I told myself the night I almost ate linoleum. A fall is not just a bruise. It can steal time, confidence, and independence, but most of the sneaky traps in our homes are simple to fix. I'm not chasing perfection. I'm building freedom, the kind you feel when your feet find safe ground without thinking about it. If you're listening and feel that flicker of maybe I should, start with one thing today. Move a cord, anchor a rug corner, plug in a nightlight. You don't need a grand plan to begin. You need a small act you can finish before dinner. That's how I did it. One kind choice for tomorrow's me. By the way, I'd love to know who's out there with me. Drop your name and your city in the comments. Tell me if you're in Sacramento, Seattle, Phoenix, Atlanta, or a little town with one diner and the best pie. We're a whole country of kitchens and hallways and late-night water runs. Let's make them kinder together. Here's how my days feel now. When evening settles, I turn off the big lights and the house hums in a soft glow. My path to the kitchen is straight. The bathroom floor is dry and sure underfoot. The chair helps me stand without that little lurch. My shoes hug my heels. I still love that museum on Wednesdays. I still pot herbs on the patio. The difference is I no longer negotiate with my floors. My home and I are on the same side. If you want to borrow my little checklist, here's the spirit of it, in plain words. Light first, then floors. Clear roots, solid holds, shoes that serve you, habits that slow you down for 10 good seconds. And on days when balance is stubborn, kindness to yourself is the best safety gear there is. So that's the story of how I turned my house into a teammate. Not a fortress, not a hospital, just a place that notices me, meets me where I am, and walks me to the kitchen without drama. I wish the same ease for you. We've earned it. I promised myself I wouldn't turn my home into a museum of don'ts, but into a place of do's. Do breathe, do move, do enjoy your routines with less worry. So I layered in small, friendly cues that keep me steady without shouting safety device every time I pass by. I made light a habit, not just a fixture. My evening routine now includes a quiet lights check, not a drill, just a glance, hall, stairs, bathroom glow, kitchen doorway. If a bulb flickers, I swap it before it fails. Outside, I added a couple of solar path lights by the front walk. When the mail runs late or a neighbor drops off lemons after sunset, the steps are obvious and my shoulders relax. Inside cabinets, that little battery puck light turns hunting for a jar into a 2-second task. It's astonishing how much steadier we feel when our eyes aren't negotiating with shadows. Floors taught me to love the word anchored, anchored rugs, anchored cords, anchored habits. I got picky about the edges of things, no curling corners, no sneaky lip on the threshold, no area rug that scoots when a grandkid makes a quick turn. On the stairs, if the tread felt slick, I added clear non-slip strips. Subtle, but certain. My niece joked I turned into a runway engineer. Maybe, but now every runway ends where I intended to. Bathrooms deserved thoughtfulness, not fear. Water and speed are a dramatic pair, so I dialed both down. I added a small shelf at shoulder height for shampoo and soap, so I never have to bend and twist on wet tile. Hooks for towels sit within arm's reach of the shower chair. I keep a dry cloth handy to swipe any splash before it decides to become trouble. I even placed a non-breakable cup within reach, so I can sip water and slow my pace. Not a spa, exactly, but it feels kinder. Chairs and tables became teammates. In the living room, I pulled the coffee table back just enough to give my knees room to pivot. Side tables sit where my hand naturally lands. That way, when I stand, I have a light touch to cue my balance. A small, firm cushion on a seat can raise the height an inch or 2, just enough to turn a strain into an easy rise. In the bedroom, I set a tray on the dresser for the nightly crowd, glasses, phone, lip balm, so I never set them on the bed and then go fishing in the dark. Closets and shelves kept surprising me. The things I reach for constantly, mugs, breakfast bowls, olive oil. My favorite sweater now lift between knee and shoulder height. High shelves belong to holiday platters and memories, not heavy pots. If I must use a step stool, it's the kind with a handle, rubber feet, and a rule. Never when I'm alone in the house, never with socks, and never in a hurry. Most days, I don't need it at all because the essentials move down to meet me. Clutter, I learned, isn't always mess, it's friction. A basket of shoes by the door was charming until the day it turned the entryway into a hopscotch course. Now shoes have a place that isn't a path, mail has a bin that isn't a stair. My purse lands on a hook instead of the arm of a chair. I'm not chasing minimalism, I'm curating paths. Clear lines mean my mind can wander while my feet don't. Footwear keeps me honest. The minute I tried proper house shoes, snug heel, firm sole with grip, I understood the difference. It isn't stiffness, it's certainty. When I walk from wood to tile to rug, my step feels the same. No flapping, no slipping, no catching. I keep a second pair by the bed for late-night bathroom trips, so I never talk myself into just socks. If a shoe starts to feel loose, it retires to the donation box. My balance thanks me every single day. I shifted my mornings too. Before coffee, I wake up my ankles with gentle circles and draw the alphabet with my toes. I sit tall and practice 3 slow stand-ups from a chair, press through the feet, hips forward, eyes on a spot ahead. If a day feels spongy, I add a few heel raises at the kitchen counter while the kettle hums. These are tiny investments that pay out all day long. Movement doesn't have to be grand to be effective. It has to be consistent. Nighttime got a kinder tempo. If I wake, I sit and breathe long enough to feel my heartbeat settle. I touch the nightlight switch, slip on my house shoes, and only then stand. My robe belt lives short and neat. My phone rests on the nightstand, screen dimmed, emergency contacts easy to reach, not because I expect trouble, because readiness calms me. Calm feet make smart feet. One of the bravest choices I made was to talk to my doctor about dizziness. We reviewed medications that can fog focus or nudge blood pressure down when I stand. We planned around it, more water, slower changes of position, a heads up for days when a dose might make me lightheaded. I also scheduled an eye exam I'd delayed for a year. The world sharpened, and so did my footing. Sometimes the fix is a pair of lenses, not a pair of handrails. Money-wise, I respected my budget. The first wave, the night lights, shower mat, rug pads, cord clips, came in under $100 and changed my nights immediately. The second wave, grab bars and a shower chair, cost more, so I spaced it out. I didn't shop for perfection, I shopped for reliability. And I learned that the best purchase was often a rearrangement, move the plate stack down, bring the kettle closer, slide the reading chair so the lamp is on the side of my stronger hand. Here's a practical rhythm anyone can borrow. Once a week, I choose a room for Purdy Karshers. Once a week, I choose a room and ask 3 questions. Can I see my path? Can my feet trust this floor? Is there a hand where my hand wants to land? If I can honestly say yes, I call it good and go about my day. If not, I fix one thing in that moment, tighten a screw, tape a corner, relocate a stack. Doing one thing now beats listing 10 things for later. Community helps more than we admit. The first time I mentioned house safety to friends at the park, 3 women nodded like they'd been waiting for someone to say it out loud. Wang had a clever trick for securing rug corners with discreet carpet anchors. Another swore by stick-on motion lights along the baseboard near the bathroom. We traded tips like recipes. If you're willing, share your best fix in the comments. Say your name and your city, too. It warms my heart to read hi. I'm Carol from Des Moines, or this is Anita in Tampa. Try clear stair grips. We're different kitchens, same midnight glass of water. My home still looks like my home. Sun splashes on the breakfast table. The patio herbs keep me company while I water. The hallway family photos make me smile as I pass. What's new is the quiet partnership. The lights wake when I do, the floors cooperate, the rails keep their promises. I used to think safety meant surrender. Now I know it means support, the kind that lets me say yes to Wednesday museums, yes to spontaneous pie, yes to sitting on the floor to play with my grandbaby and standing back up without staging a production. If you're on the fence, begin with the easiest win, move 1 cord, anchor 1 rug, add 1 nightlight. The confidence from that single change will nudge you toward the next. And if a day arrives when your balance feels stubborn, give yourself grace, sit steady, light on, stand. Repeat as needed. You're not falling behind, you're building a habit of care. Before I end, a final, simple mantra that guides me: light first, then steps, clear path, then pace. And to hold, then move, shoes on, then go, and always, always, kindness first. It's the softest way to stay strong. Wherever you are, Portland, Austin, Cleveland, Santa Fe, or a tiny town with a great farmer's market, I'm cheering for you. May your floors be steady, your nights well lit, and your mornings full of small movements that add up to big freedom. We've earned this ease, let's keep it.